Hi, this is Érika from Small Robot Studio. In this video, I'll teach you some techniques to achieve variety in your character designs. You might have heard the term same face syndrome. It is used to describe a tendency artists have to draw very similar looking faces, similar proportions, features, and even angles or expressions. This is an issue if you cannot control it. If there's a good reason behind it, like budget or branding, that's another story. Saying same face syndrome is actually quite reductive, as this extends to the body and overall design choices like shape language. Inadvertently repeating the same choices limits greatly our output as character designers. So I'm going to teach you several techniques that help me identify and break the patterns of my own. Let's focus first on the face. I'll use all designs from my high school years. There's no doubt these characters are all too alike. If you still cannot see it, let me remove their hair. To break this face pattern, I'll use the T method. I discuss it with more detail and anatomical references in my How to Draw Faces video. In short, I'll make a T shape surrounding my eyes and nose. I'll forget about the features for now, so I can focus on the main shapes. Clearly, it's all too similar. So I'll start by making different head shapes and throw in some interesting hair shapes. Now I can make a new version of the teeth as a base for the features. The only thing I want to keep similar is the size of the head and the eyes. Even though they don't have the same shape, I'm keeping the same volume, as if I was reshaping a ball of clay. Why is this? The size of an adult head is this average. That means that even though we'll find variation between people, it won't be as significant as this. A smaller head in relation to other characters will read as younger, like a skull that hasn't fully grown. Same goes for the eyes. From birth to adulthood, eyes grow around 8 millimeters, not even a full centimeter. Having such significant changes in the size of a head and the eyes of our characters will feel weird, as if they belong to different worlds or species. When breaking a realistic rule like having a massive head in relation to the body, it works when the rule is consistent in the world they live in. This can be other characters sharing the same proportion. It's not about prescribing unbreakable rules, but to understand our choices to avoid a reading we did not intend. I'm going back to my designs. I'll complete my diagrams by drawing a question mark rhythm, which will give me the shape of the cheekbones and the width and location of the mouth. Having a unique base for each character, now it's time to draw the features. Think of contrasts and what shapes communicate. A grumpy, unfriendly character can be communicated with squares. A friendly one does better with round shapes. A chill person could have droopy features. Do not repeat the same choices unless there is a good reason like sibling resemblance. Color will help us reinforce what's different or similar between our designs. To draw faces in perspective, I will simplify a head with a cube and a cylinder. I will lay down the T diagram on my cylinder, making sure to keep track of the center line, so you don't locate the features out of place. You can even do a clay version of it to help you out. A successful base will help in keeping the features in place. To achieve different looking expressions, I find efficient drawing face masks. I will not go in more detail because I have a whole video focused on this topic. What if I'm starting my design from zero? Simply choosing a shape for the head is already a hassle. Take your pencil from the opposite end you normally do, or even use your opposite drawing hand. Now draw a figure 8. In the intersection, draw 2 shapes for the eyes. It's okay if they're not circles. Somewhere in between the eyes, draw a shape for the nose. By losing control in our strokes, we are breaking away from our muscle memory that aims at doing the same shape over and over. We can use this base to build on top the rest of the face. This is the character design version of Write Drunk, Edits Over. Feel free to throw in the T diagram to help you out. By the way, this technique is from the Silver Way book by Stephen Silver, of course. Check it out, it's a great reference. Before I move on to the body, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. If you want to join these brilliant individuals and enjoy the monthly rewards we offer, visit us at patreon.com/smallrobotstudio. Time to tackle the body. Forget about details for now. Let's look at simple silhouettes. Again, you can see they're all the same. I'll go even simpler and focus only on the torso, the two main masses that make it, the ribcage and the pelvis. In this simplistic level, they look like an exclamation point. Two shapes we can play with, creating tons of variation from. Look at how different they can be just by changing fonts. I'll vary the body for these characters. I'll throw in the head, the legs and arms. Just remember to keep the sizes of their heads similar when they are part of the same lineup. If you are aiming at realistic human proportions, with the head and the torso, we have half of the height, so the legs and the feet will be the other half. Wait, is your character not human? No worries, we can use the silver ladder instead. This is another concept you'll find in the Silver Way book. Divide your characters with straight lines at the main shape breaks. If your characters are too alike, the distribution of the lines will be very similar. By the way, this technique is also good to know if your design is too monotonous. You gotta watch out for having repetitive sizes in the ladder. My last advice is probably the most important. If you find yourself constantly in the same design zone, you might be limited by your own skill. In other words, you are not drawing enough from reference. Instead of trying to come up with design ideas, borrow them from the world we live in. A simple way you can study the world around us, and even art that you admire, is laying on top the T-diagram or the explanation point. Quite simple, isn't it? Of course, the best bet is gonna be drawing. Here's an exercise we can do. I'll take 2 photo references and blur them so I don't get distracted with the details. I'll grab again my drawing tool with my opposite hand and make a gestural sketch from each. I will keep in mind what I find visually appealing from my references. I quite like the shape of her falling hair and her ponytail. I like the volume of her vest. This is what I've got. I will hide my references now and use these drawings as a base to create a mix. I am still drawing with the hand I've got least control of. I'll go yet another level deeper, making a new drawing using this as a reference. When one of these drawings catch your fancy, do a cleaner version of it. Now we can edit this, creating a cleaner version. And here we go, new character. This analysis and studies of reality will expand your visual library and teach your muscle memory new tricks. You will be surprised by the new design choices that you come up with. That's it for this tutorial. If you find it useful, make sure that you leave a like so other people can find it. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, as we are bringing out CG and illustration tutorials every week. Become a patron and access tutorial assets, bonus content, a private Discord, and more by clicking in the link below.